Tune into Turntable Taxi on KSJE Saturday nights at 8 o'clock. Each week, we select a musical style and play 78s, 45s, and 33 RPM records. Some of our themes will include swing music, blues, heart-wrenching torch songs, early rock and roll, girl groups, soul, and R&B.
Ten minutes past 8 o'clock. It's Wednesday morning, the 24th day of September, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Micklin. Thank you for joining me this morning on KSJE 90.9 FM right here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, we broadcast over the air at 103.3 FM. And if you're listening to me anywhere else on the planet, you've probably gone to our website to do that. We're streaming all the time, KSJE.com, or maybe you're listening to me through the new KSJE app. You can do that as well, or maybe you've asked your smart speaker to play KSJE. It's great to have you here. Either way, however you found us this morning, thanks for coming along. Coming up on the program today, we've got a lot of information to share with you from Farmington Municipal Schools, a full studio of guests here with me this morning, so stay tuned for that. We'll be talking about a lot of things, including the district's new cell phone policy, some new security procedures, and much, much more, so stay tuned for that coming up this morning in the next few moments here on KSJE. Then, of course, we will make way for Mick Hess. It's Roving with the Arts, our weekday classical music program. Mick will be here for a special 90-minute version of his program, beginning after the news next hour at 9:06 on KSJE. Because that'll take us to 10:30, and right on Four Corners, our local and regional author program with Delcherie Gladden. This week, Delcherie is speaking with author Tim Weed about his book, The Afterlife Project. You'll hear that conversation today at 10:30 right here on KSJE. Don't forget, we want you to connect with us on other social media platforms as well, on Instagram and Blue Sky and X, in addition to Facebook and YouTube. And there they are, the KSJE podcasts. They're available wherever you listen to podcasts, so stay connected and maybe discover a new local program that you may have missed, or better yet, use the new KSJE app, the KSJE radio app, available now at the App Store and Google Play. Podcasts are there, live streaming is there, and much, much more, so check it out and stay connected with us when you're on the go. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, those mornings are getting cooler, 50 degrees at the moment. We are expecting a sunny day today with a high reaching only 71. Clear skies tonight again with a low of 48. It'll be sunny tomorrow with a high of 76 on Thursday. But take a look on Friday. Maybe a 50% chance of showers in the forecast on Friday with a high of 74. Another 50% chance of rain on Saturday and Sunday with highs only near 70 on Saturday, 65 on Sunday, and overnight lows in the mid-50s. Mother Nature taking this fall season pretty seriously. I'll be back with my guests from Farmington Municipal Schools right after this on KSJE.
KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center. The most important ingredients to sustaining health and wellness are the resources and tools that help you live a vibrant and healthy life. At San Juan Regional Medical Center, the goal is to promote health by making sure those resources are available. Find the path to the best life at lifebetterhere.com. San Juan Regional Medical Center. Better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care. The Four Corners Balloon Rally returns to Farmington September 26th through the 28th. If you can't make it in person, let KSJE take you there with our KSJE On the Road program on Facebook. Each morning, KSJE will be streaming video of the Mass Ascension, Friday from Lake Farmington and Saturday and Sunday from the Animas Valley Mall. Also on Friday, join us from San Juan College for the Balloon Glow from 6 to 9 p.m. KSJE On the Road, taking you to great community events.
Now back to Studio A and the award-winning Scott Micklin Morning Program on KSJE.
Joining me here in the studio to talk about Farmington Schools, Superintendent Cody Deal is back with us this morning. Mr. Deal, good morning. Welcome back to KSJE.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for having us.
You bet. Good to have you here. You brought a lot of guests with you this morning, which we will get to in just a moment, but we'll start by talking about some of the other recognitions and kind of celebrations there from Farmington schools and your appearance this month. So we'll get right to it because there's a lot going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, geez, it's crazy how much happens. It's hard to keep up, but honoring Hispanic Heritage Month at Farmington Municipal Schools this month from September 15th to October 15th.
Right.
And I think the thing that really stands out to me here the most, not only for our Hispanic and Latino communities, but that FMS is the most diverse school district in New Mexico, with a third of our student population identifying as Hispanic. And we know
Right.
we talk about our Dene population as well, and probably in a couple slides I'm sure we'll celebrate that as well. But kicking it off, and our schools do a really good job of celebrating.
Right. Very good. Congrats. And it's really important to be able to take at least a month to celebrate, if not all year long, but that's great too.
Yeah, and I like to say that we celebrate all of our students and families every day.
Sure. But this gives us a chance to focus on it, so
Yes.
that's great as well. And also your Lady Scorpions getting some good
Yeah,
results at the volleyball
They
tournament.
won their own tournaments
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago. So congratulations to the Lady Scorps. They did beat crosstown rival Piedra Vista in the championship. So I think in the next slide we talk a little bit about PV. But
Right.
but yeah, it's always been a good tournament, and we love hosting, and those guys do a great job of doing so. We run a varsity tournament at Farmington High and the JV tournament at Piedra Vista. So special thanks to both of those schools for opening the doors, and their athletic directors for putting on a great event.
Right.
And then the following week, the Lady Panthers went down to Santa Fe and won the silver bracket at the Santa Fe tournament. So congratulations to them. And like I said, they were runners-up in the Four Corners volleyball tournament that Farmington won. So
Very, very good.
off to a good start for both of them.
Indeed, very true. And I'll remind our radio listeners, if you're not watching us on a screen, you don't see all these smiling faces of these student athletes who are being recognized this morning. So we encourage you to check out the video part of this program on Facebook or YouTube. Another one of your students getting some recognition as well.
Yeah, right here from San Juan College High School. Maggie Clark, a student at San Juan College High School, is now a published playwright. So
How about that?
Congratulations to her, and great talent, and obviously she's found a passion for the theater programs offered within our schools and communities, and we've seen Daniel Fear here many times talking about the fine arts in this community and how they support and do a great job. So, but also if you want to find her work, you in 4 short plays on ipgbook.com.
That's where you can find it. Okay.
Yeah,
And she's
good
going
for
to...
her. Very proud.
Yeah, very good. And she's going to continue on at UNM, it looks like.
Yeah.
So good for her. Congratulations. Some royalty to talk about from Piedra Vista and San Juan College High School.
Yep. Congratulations to Piedra Vista royalty. I was celebrating the Miss and Mr. Indigenous, Taylor Begay and Jadrian Hicks.
Yeah.
So yeah, sophomores. So
From PV?
congratulations- From PV. Congratulations to them.
Very good.
So, yeah.
And then the San Juan College High School had their very first
Very first. So
Indigenous pageant.
a lot of firsts always happen at San Juan College High. So yes, they do a great job there as well. So
Exactly. We'll
yeah, we
point
want to
out.
celebrate them. So we have the inaugural winners, Lila White and Andrew Neswood.
Very good.
Congratulations to those students as well.
Congrats to them.
Good stuff, and maybe Mr. Trujillo is going to be here with us a little bit. He can talk about what that looks like. I think homecoming last week.
Right.
So yeah,
Very cool.
celebrated them there.
Right. Students also from your schools got a chance to interact and see the New Mexico Supreme Court in action. That was an event hosted here at San Juan College, I remember.
Yeah, really cool. New Mexico Supreme Court Rule of Law Day. So obviously thanks to San Juan College for hosting and opening up their doors. But I think we took it a step further at Rosinante High School and had Mr. Robert Sileman's 4th hour leadership class. They showed up for the event, but then also the Supreme Court then joined Mr. Sileman's class to engage in an in-depth discussion with them. So
Nice.
really cool, and I want to, special thanks to our legal people in San Juan County for inviting them in and then putting it on, but certainly grateful to the New Mexico Supreme Court, Chief Justice David Thompson, Justice Michael Vigil, Justice Shannon Bacon, and Justice Julie Vargas. Justice Julie Vargas and Justice Brianna Zamora for taking the time to visit our school and making the time to come in and inspire our students. And it's probably a once in a lifetime thing where they are able to sit in a classroom and have those discussions with those folks. So we're very grateful that they had the opportunity to do that.
Very true. And learn a bit more about the interpretation of the law in our state from these folks who sit on the highest court in our state as well.
Yeah.
Some other kudos for national speaker who was at your school.
Yeah, and we've talked a little bit about where we're headed with athletics, and Mr. Gamboa is our executive director of operations and athletics, and really talking about our town and having one mission, and then creating these leadership opportunities for students. And so last week it was really cool to see over 100 students in our central office for a good chunk of the day. With Mr. Hillier and Mr. Gamboa and the two athletic directors at the PV and Farmington High. We're at a conference this summer and saw Mr. Hillier. So really cool day and a lot of excitement. Kids, they all left with a book, and it's bigger than the playing field, right? Leadership and character and all of the things that athletics and activities provide our students, and just to really talk more about it and learn. It was really a neat opportunity. It's fun to watch.
Right, very true. And a nice reminder, I think, for your students, right, about those topics that you talked about, leadership and sportsmanship and all those things on the field.
Yeah.
And off. So.
And we know that I'm sure we're all sitting here thinking we were going to go pro at someday, or even college scholarship. But it's really more about that and being part of a team and a commitment and those values that come along with being part of a program.
Right.
Whether it's athletic program, fine arts we've talked about. So creating that environment where students can be successful and learn from one another and take those characteristics on with them throughout life.
Mm-hmm. Very true, very true. Congratulations. And now we'll talk about maybe one of the bigger topics of the month, which is how you are now, the district is phone free.
Yeah, it's been really cool, and that's why I wanted to invite these guys. They're the ones who live it every day and speak it, so and deal with it, I guess. But
right.
I've said it before on the program, but I want to thank our school board for taking the initiative. I mean, obviously now it's in legislation and law, but our school board really took an initiative well before legislation was passed about this topic. So.
Very good. Let's introduce the other guests who are here with us at the moment, because there are other guests waiting in the green room, as they say, right? But we want to welcome also to the program this morning, Kevin Beckner is here. He's the principal at Heights Middle School. Good morning. Thank you for being here as well. Also, Irvin Trujillo is the assistant principal from PV.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Thank you for not elbowing Mr. Deal during his Farmington High School comments, but that's okay.
I'm seeing a pattern here
Equal time.
with our haircuts. It must be a thing.
Maybe something's going on, and what's in the water up there.
Maybe the next couple guys have
Must
some
be
hair.
the water in there.
That's all right. But great to have you gentlemen here to talk about this new policy at the school district and the work that I think both of you have done about students and cell phones and what that means in the classroom and in school. And so talk to me about this new policy that just went into place maybe not too long ago, and now with the new school year underway. How's it working in each of your schools?
Well, I'll start.
Sure.
We have experienced a lot of success this year around the cell phone policy. What Mr. Dill said about legislation passed and the school board adopting a policy has really supported our efforts in the building to limit distractions within the classroom.
Right.
It's important to me and important to our staff that students are prepared and focused in the classrooms, and this cell phone policy really helped students limit distractions. One of the things that we recently took part in was we had Dr. Warwick from High Reliability Schools in our building, and I partnered with him to speak to our students directly, because sometimes our kids don't necessarily fully open up to a teacher or fully open up to a principal, so we leverage that opportunity to have somebody from the outside collect some student voice data around the cell phone policy, just to see where we were at and how the kids were feeling about the cell phone policy. And as you might imagine, you might think that the kids would not like the cell phone policy, or that they'd want us to reverse it so that they could have their devices back. But that was the exact opposite of what Dr. Warwick found. Heights kids reported to him, and he saw 32 random kids at Heights last week. He talked to them in groups of 8 or 10 in a conference room with some openness, communication. He put the kids at ease and reported back to me that the kids were fully speaking freely to him, which was important to me.
Right, sure. And so they were okay. They weren't missing their devices or anything like that. They thought it was okay.
Yes. So two of the really highlights were that 100% of the groups agreed 100% that the cell phone policy had helped the school, and that it had helped reduce some of the fights and some of the conflicts in the school. And some of the direct quotes from kids were that they concentrate more in classes because they're not thinking about even checking it in their backpacks, that the device is outside of the classroom and stowed away in their locker. So it kind of gives them that cognitive detachment from the device so that they can focus on things going on in the classroom.
Interesting. And you said 100%.
100%.
Which is no one has 100%. No one agrees 100% on anything these days. And
32
and your students did.
Kids
Good for you.
They thought getting phones out of their school day was a great move by the adults, and it really warms my heart that the kids recognize, because they need it. I know that our preteen kids and our middle school kids really do, at the end of the day, rely on adults to help them make good decisions, because they aren't quite capable of it yet.
Sure. Well, maybe a new habit for them.
Yep.
A good habit.
Yep.
So, very good. Mr. Heel, let me ask you about your experience at PV with the high school students. What have you found?
Actually, our journey started a year ago. In the school year 24-25, we actually, with the help of the staff members, we implemented the Panther Way. Part of the Panther Way was we focused on 3 areas: personal responsibility, accountability, and citizenship. That went to the classroom, the common areas, and technology. One of the things we played with it last year was, we call it the Panther Way. And part of it was students will turn off their cell phones and leave it in their backpacks and zip it up and put it in a designated area where the teacher was able to put them, someone in front of the room, someone kept it up beside their desk, or side of the room.
So even before this became policy, you were already on that path, I guess,
yeah,
huh?
we were already doing it, and we called it the Panther Way. And that's how we live a lot of our rules and procedures at the high school level. So bringing the new policy, and actually it was a lot easier to bring in this year.
Sure. Well, not too many changes, I guess, from what they were already used to, I guess, right?
No, we just have a bill behind it that would say, hey, no, this is what we can do.
Right.
And they're not able to, argue against it or fight it and stuff. And we've definitely seen a reduction in our discipline behavior as well. Like it was shown, a lot of our discipline issue was around cell phones and kids videotaping each other with fights and different things, or cyberbullying and different things on social media. We've actually seen a reduce in our numbers of discipline referral this year as well. So
interesting. I saw that on the graphic that we're displaying, that there are less fights in school, perhaps because it's not being videoed and not going on social media or being shared amongst peers, right?
Yeah, it is. And definitely there's a lot of learning going on in the classroom as well. You walk in a classroom and everybody has their cell phones away. It's kind of nice. You still have your once in a while they'll break the rules and stuff like that. We call it bell to bell. So during instruction time, so from the time the bell rings to the end of the class, they shouldn't have they shouldn't have any cell phones on them in the hallways. Or if they're going down to another room or a library, they shouldn't have their cell phones with them.
Gotcha.
So,
and they're being stored again in the locker or in some other place on the school?
We don't have enough lockers, so we prefer them to store it in their backpacks.
I see.
Not in their pockets, not on them or not sitting on them, but in their backpacks.
But somewhere where they can't access it easily, I guess, is the
Out of
idea.
sight, out of mind.
Right,
Yes.
is the idea. And
So
so,
that's the idea.
and the reactions, I guess, again,
It's been really
like at
good.
Heights, what have you heard at PV?
It's been really good. Kids are able to, they like it. A lot of them are more focused. Grades are going up. And like I said, it's been really good. So we see a lot of changes in there. So a lot of learning taking place in the classroom.
Right. Very good. Well, congratulations. And Mr. Deal, is this being reflected at other schools in the district?
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing it across the board, and we spend a lot of time in our schools, and it's funny. I find myself. I'm a real. I try to, or pride myself on answering people back in emails and text messages, and even when I get into schools now, I find myself I can't get my phone out. Right, I have to keep it away, set the example, and so it'll take time, right, for it to really to take into full effect. But our schools have done a really good job, and these two gentlemen here, even prior to Mr. Beckner being the principal at Heights Middle School, he was assistant principal at Mesa View Middle School, and they started this as well a year ago. In terms of a phone-free environment, and so it was really good to see that, and we knew the positive impacts that it was going to have across our district. So I appreciate these two and their leadership and for taking the initiative, even pre-legislation and pre-school board wanting to do this. So that's why they're here today, and I just want to thank them for their leadership and what they've done, and it's a good thing. I was at Farmington High. I think I may have said this the last time I was here about it. Teacher was emotional about the engagement that students were having, not only with her, but with one another, you know,
Right.
having dialogue and face-to-face conversations and having to look each other in the eye to have conversations. So it's been really neat to see.
Very good. Well,
Very transformative.
right. Congratulations. And I guess just final thought on the topic here would be reaction from parents. I mean, how are they coming on this new policy? Mr. Beckner, what are they saying to you?
I did have my first PAC meeting previous to this Student Voice Committee about a week previous to that, and cell phones did come up in those conversations, and it kind of echoes what Mr. Deal said about the social interactions that the kids are experiencing at school, because we made our lunch times cell phone free as well, and some of our kids stated in those groups that they're finding themselves playing basketball more, playing football more, resolving conflicts on the playfield with each other, and out of that parent advisory committee, they spoke a lot about seeing some increase in resilience of their kids. They seem to be less likely to experience those difficult emotions that preteens do, and they're seeing some improvements in their after-school family hours of their children's behaviors.
Wow, very good.
They
Thank
were
you.
in full support. That
Interesting.
Whole committee.
Very good. Mr. Hill, what about your parents?
The
What have you
people,
heard?
the parents we talk to, usually I make calls usually during the day with teachers and stuff of students who violate the cell phone policy. They've been appreciative, and they're very thankful that we have this program going in, and we're initiating this no cell phone, and there's a lot more going in. They're supportive, and of all the ones I've talked to, 100% always agree with me, and they haven't had any negative feedback on that one. So it's been always positive, and they're appreciative that we're able to communicate with them and talk to them, and they talk to their kids about it too as well. So
Sure.
we make it known.
Yeah. Very good. Well, congratulations. This is a pretty big change, I think, for students and parents in the schools. And so congrats on sounds like successful results coming from this new change. And I appreciate you both being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
very much. You bet. Very good. Mr. Deal, we'll continue on here as our guests kind of swap out for two new guests. And attendance is going to be important coming up, it sounds like, right?
For sure, and we've been on this. This has been an initiative not only for Farmington Municipal Schools, but for the Public Education Department in the state of New Mexico
Right.
for the last several years, right? So, absolutely, in Farmington schools, I feel like I can say it is that we have great leadership, and we have resources that, and these two gentlemen coming in now have really done a nice job of putting together attendance teams at each school and having our attendance for success interventions and things like that. So these two have done a really nice job of putting that work together. So pretty excited, and hopefully they mention Rosanate High School and some of the things that are happening, really cool things happening there as well. So yeah, good stuff.
Very good. Thank you for that. And we'll bring in our other guests here in just a second, as soon as I get my act together over here on my side. But you've got some new safety protocols and threat protocols too.
Let's
on
go back.
campus.
We do.
But go back to this.
Let's
Okay.
talk about the attendance still.
All right.
And bring in Dr. Jones. I'm going to take over.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Go right ahead. Dr. Chris Jones is here. He is the Support Services Director, and thank you for coming in. And also Nathan Pirantoni. Nathan Pirantoni is here with the HR Director as well. Thank you both for coming in. Dr. Jones, pardon me. Talk a little bit about this project here.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here. So part of my role at working in schools is focusing on attendance, and within our state too, there's a big focus around improving our schools' attendance, because we know if students are in their seats, they're learning, they're happy, and it's a very good thing to see, right? So this month in September, on September 29th, is the New Mexico Be Here Day in New Mexico. So it's a real drive for attendance. As we've started this year, kind of focusing on getting students in our seats. On the 29th, it's a highlighted focus around that. Many of our schools are highlighting our students for either perfect attendance, better attendance, great attendance, improving. For a couple examples, Heights has just recognized students for perfect attendance last night at their family engagement night.
Right.
Tibbetts is doing some stuff around celebrating attendance each week. At the end of the week, celebrating students, putting their name in a hat for a drawing. It doesn't have to be perfect attendance, just better, right? Increasing that. McCormick on the 29th is celebrating students that are there with a popsicle, and so just really trying to create some positivity around being in school. We know that when students are in school, they're much more likely to succeed. There's some, pretty interesting research around students that, are in school and attending every day in kindergarten are much more likely to have success by third grade in reading. So it's something that's very important to focus on. And we're really partnering with our schools around that. And Mr. Dill, kind of hinted at Rosanate. They really focused on attendance just this last year and saw a 15% decrease in their chronic absentee rate. And so that's, I wanted to celebrate them for just a minute, because they've really taken the time to celebrate that. And really, I think what's led to that is communicating with families, communicating with the students. When students are of a concern, we reach out to them, meet with their families, and see how we can support them to get them in school. And that's kind of my role, is supporting schools and doing that.
Sure,
Yeah.
exactly. And I guess as you do that, is your hope that they will then, if they're staying in school and coming to school, that they will finish school?
Absolutely, yes. So much more likely to graduate, right? So if a student is chronically absent, there are some real, serious indicators there that they might be at risk of not graduating. And I think that's what our high schools are really focusing on, is making sure our students are in our seats each and every day, increasing their likelihood of graduation and success later in the future.
Right, got it.
Those healthy work habits for, workplace or college, moving on. So
Sure, very true, very true. And Mr. Deal, again, attendance equals dollars from the state, I know, on some of these days when the count is so important, correct?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we get we're funded off of our 80 and 120 averages. So absolutely. And it's enrollment at the time. But going back to what Dr. Jones said, we have some work to do as a school district as well, right? To engage our students and to create opportunities for them where they want to be in school. So it goes both ways. So I just want people to understand that we're working really hard at that as well, right? We talk about pathways and opportunities to engage our students. So it's definitely a partnership, and Dr. Jones is correct. If they're not there, they're not learning. And we have some really good things going.
Right.
I'm excited for the future.
Very good. And I know in your previous visits here, you've been telling me about some of the technology you're using to help when students are absent, to reach out to those parents and try to follow up and find out what's going on. That's also part of the strategy, I guess, too?
Yeah, we had a couple different initiatives going on. I'll let Dr. Jones talk to both of them, our EDIA app and Attend with school status. So we're actually having a kickoff call this afternoon. So.
So first off, with EDIA app, they do a great job. They use AI to reach out to families. So if a student is absent, it scrolls through that role, role and automatically will send a text message to that parent. I know all of us sitting here, parents of our own, I've had that text message for my own student coming through, right? Hey, just to let you know, your daughter was absent today. And then it's pretty easy. I can scan back, hey, we're sitting at the doctor's office, and, scan back the doctor's note, right? And then EDIA can go through, verify that absence. And really the importance of that is it frees up time for our resources in our own schools with people to then reach out to families and then be more proactive around attendance and provide support, as opposed to just simply going through and logging attendances, right? Absences each day. And so ED kind of takes care of that, opening up time for our people. And then Mr. Deal talked about school status attend, which is another great resource that I think is going to free up more time for individuals, because it will automatically send out communication to families. Hey, your son or daughter has been absent X amount of days. We'd love to partner with you on how we can support you to get you in schools. And again, freeing up time for our individuals in our schools to then work with families and with students, right, which is the important piece. Kind of alleviating some of those tools that can be done automatically through a system, through AI. Then the human aspect can take over from that point. Right. Really excited to see how that works out for us.
Sure. It sounds like you're able to use your existing resources a little more effectively.
Absolutely.
Is the idea
the people,
behind
right?
The people resources, right?
Yeah. Use our people effectively, where AI can do the other stuff, and then that opens up the people, which is the most important tool that we have, and then impact families that way on a personal level.
Yeah, very good, very true, very interesting. Thank you for sharing that and being here with us this morning as well. Mr. Deal, we'll go back to some of these other things too, the threats and other things that the school district has been working on, I guess, on response.
Yeah, and
safety.
Certainly want to introduce our Executive Director of Human Resources and Support Services, Mr. Nate Parentoni, and he'd be remiss if I didn't say that he started leading a lot of this work in the past couple of years as the executive director of just support services. Added a little more to his plate, and he's doing an amazing job. But so he's been a leader in both of these fronts, most of our fronts actually. But so yeah, Mr. Parentoni, I'd love for him to talk a little bit about, and for those of you, I believe, who read the newspaper, the Tri-City Record, I think there was an article the past couple days, at least online, in regards to what we want to talk about next.
Okay, very good. Mr. Parentoni, welcome back. You've been here in a couple of different capacities, I think, with your work and education, but talk to me a little bit about this latest process, I guess, and some of the policies about threat assessments and responses and things like that.
Thanks, Scott. Good morning. Yeah, our district, our top priority in our strategic plan is a safe, supportive, and collaborative environment. And so in my new role, I'm able to see the lens through the people, through the leaders, through the teachers, our support staff, our social workers, our counselors. And one of the things, it's not necessarily a new protocol, but it's a revisit and a re-strengthening of the system that underlies our commitment to supporting kids and supporting the safety of our campuses across all of our schools. So this protocol really speaks to the balance of our obligation when it comes to addressing a threat, because it's not simply about disciplining a student when there's a threat. We take a threat as a call to action almost, and just as much as we have a responsibility to teach situationally appropriate behaviors for that kid, we also have an obligation to support that student. And so using a behavioral threat assessment team, we've retrained all of our staff. We're purposefully working on retraining all the support staff as well on what it looks like to conduct not just the disciplinary process, not just the law enforcement process, but also the safety interview, the safety screener, and whatever action plans we need to implement when it comes to kids that, for whatever reason, are having trouble and they need our support. And so with whether it's outside resources, whether it's looking internally, like Mr. Deal said, what are the programs of study this kid is in? What's keeping them from being fully engaged in our school? So it really speaks to engagement, it speaks to our obligation, and I think overall it touches on our idea that we do district improvement by improving our systems. And so all this is a system and a recommitment to the multiple layers of response that all of our staff has to take when a student kind of goes outside the norm and makes a threat. And we started by teaching our principals, we know that threats happen, but we're making a stand. These threats are not okay. And we are obligated to respond effectively on three fronts: law enforcement, the threat assessment process, which is the team effort, and then the disciplinary side.
Gotcha. So it sounds like to me it's maybe not a one-size-fits-all reaction to a threat.
I'm glad you said that because no, it is not. In fact, we use the Cornell screener. We use nationally recognized screeners to evaluate the level of the threat. We have a 1, 2, and 3 system, and then we have systems of evaluating threats of self-harm or suicidal ideation.
Sure.
What we're building, though, is a consistent response. And so one of our strategies is to implement new technology. This has been a paper-based practice with protocols that are in the drive and papers and documents. So we're actually adopting a platform called Safer Schools Solutions that will help us achieve consistency across every school by guiding our administrators and our support staff through the same questions for every kid, the same response, the same documentation. And that way it can all be housed, it can all be referenced, and it can follow a student so that A, we can understand what supports have worked, B, we can understand if there's patterns or concerns we need to take more seriously. It's really about tailoring the response, but having consistency in how we address it.
Sure. And I would imagine that's helpful for maybe your teachers to understand, too, with some of the training that they are getting about how to deal with these students in their classroom, and maybe they've been a little frustrated about not getting through to that student or the student
Absolutely.
reacting negatively or what have you, but maybe giving those teachers more tools to interpret what they're seeing?
You're not wrong, because the idea is that we have to define what is a threat, and rather than brush it under the rug because a kid was just frustrated, we take it as this is not normal and we have a response. Now typically our administrators and our support staff are the ones coming up with that response, but you're right, we need our teachers to be able to identify it and refer it to the office so that we are not underreacting to kids who may be calling out for help.
Sure. Very important. Very true. Mr. Deal, I want to come back to you about this. I mean, having this kind of protocol in place throughout the district has got to be, I think, maybe helpful to send a message to parents and your students as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. And how we respond today versus how we responded 10 years ago is completely different in the world that we live in now, right? For whatever reason. But a couple things I appreciate that Mr. Parentoni said. One is consistency, right? We want to ensure that we have a system across our district that is consistent in all of our schools. We can identify these issues and they aren't swept under the rug, or they are not dealt with, or they are dealt with appropriately. So the consistency and the support is crucial to me. And then the system or the platform will really support our administrators in keeping those two things in line.
Right. Very true. Very true. Well, I appreciate you both coming in and talking about that. There's more to talk about, though, as well. Some training opportunities with the police department as well recently.
Yeah, and as I think we've talked about this a few times before about our safety and security teams and our employment of armed campus safety monitors across our district. So happy to say at the end of this week we will have a armed campus safety monitor in every single one of our secondary schools, with the goal in mind that they will be in all of our schools eventually. Obviously there's things that we prioritize where they go originally based on events or data, but getting them into our elementary schools is important as well. But yes, and the partnership that we have with these armed campus safety monitors and our Farmington Police Department, these are commissioned officers with some police powers.
Right.
But the role or the support that Farmington Police Department plays in this process is crucial. They help us with training and keep our people fresh. So yeah, last week at our professional development day, a week ago Monday, our armed campus safety teams partnered with the Farmington Police Department for training. So I want to thank Dale Bodie and his teams for putting that together along with our Farmington Police Department. Even so much as what happens at a sporting event, what happens at a big scale event. Our district has done a really nice job of putting plans together, but continued training is key. So God forbid that we have an event, we're ready.
Right. Very true. And that's important. And that partnership with the police department, I think, certainly important as well.
Huge. And I can't say, I say it every time. I think I end every radio show with a thank you to that partnership with the Farmington Police Department, our first responders, and of course the Office of Emergency Management in the county. So we thank them.
Very true. Very true. Some new schools being designed.
Yeah, so this is exciting, and we're getting ready to kick off a design for Heights Middle School and Mesa Verde Elementary, just right down the street here from us.
Right.
And pretty excited about it. And
you're not going to build them at the same time, are you? Because that could be a little crazy on that street.
Be a little crazy. So really what the plan is to build a Heights Middle School on the current campus. When that is done, we'll move Mesa Verde into the old Heights while we build Mesa Verde.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think really what I want to highlight today more than anything, because we don't have plans in place, that what you're seeing up there is for those of you watching is a rough sketch of what it might look like.
Some design,
right? So,
right.
So
Ideas.
the new Heights Middle School will be where the current football field is.
Right.
As we build, and you can see it there. But the thing that I really want to highlight is that I had a few comments on Facebook about why these two schools versus others, and each year the PSFA creates a ranking of all of our schools, and there's a criteria, and schools with the higher needs receive higher scores and are prioritized with funding, right? So there's no way that we can build a school on our own. We need the Public School Facility Authority to support us, and the Public School Capital Outlay Council to support us with dollars as well.
Which is how you've built the other new schools in the district, from
Correct.
Piedra Vista to Farmington High School to the others. Yep.
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And especially with construction costs, we have no bonding capacity that would allow us to fully participate in building of one school on our own without raising taxes considerably, which we don't want to do.
Sure. So you follow these recommendations, I guess, from this state commission or this
Correct.
authority, right? Pardon me.
Correct. And then we will go out for a bond, a general obligation bond, here November 4th, asking for support. But it's only a fraction of what these schools cost. And the big key that I want to talk about is that it won't raise taxes. So that's crucial. And then I think we'll get into a little bit more detail next month in October,
Sure.
Maybe a week before the election or the election day. So
At the end of the month of October, sure.
We could talk more about it, but
Okay.
yeah.
Very good. But those are on the list, I guess, of an upgrade down the road. And this could still be, a few years out, I would think, huh? This is just
so the design,
some early design?
Yeah, the design will take, it'll take several months. So hopefully within the year,
Okay.
we can break ground.
Okay. Fair enough. Very good.
If all goes
Right.
accordingly.
And so I guess what you're saying is voters would be supporting these bonds for part of the cost, and then the state would pitch in some of the rest of it?
That's correct.
That's how it kind of
Yep,
works?
That's correct.
With their
It's a
formulas
percentage-wise.
and what have
Yep.
you. Sure.
And so this
Got it.
bond that we're going out for in November is just a small piece of this.
Gotcha. Okay.
It'll come with the next 4 or 5 years of bond dollars. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. I think I
And
understand.
we'll probably talk a little bit in
This
the
is
next
why I'm
slide
not an
about-
accountant. This is why I'm not an accountant. I'm just a radio guy. But I understand it. Thank you. And some of the other issues as well as we wrap up our visit this morning.
Yeah, so we'll just say that November. We did talk about November 4th in our general obligation bond, and the early voting begins October 7th. But I just want to thank our community for continued support and their confidence in us and the votes to do these things. So we've talked about them before, and if you follow our Facebook page, they do a really good job of highlighting some things. I think in the last month we've seen some drone footage of the new preschool.
Right.
We've seen some drone
Right.
footage of the HVAC job at Piedra Vista High School. So these dollars keep our schools in great shape and a safe place for our kids to come learn.
Very
and
true.
Enjoy.
Very true. And just there's a note there about enrollment. I want to talk a little bit about that with you briefly. Just a small dip, it looks like, in enrollment, but something to keep an eye on, I suppose.
Yes. I think one of the scary things for me is 4 or 5 years ago when we had our facility master plan, how they predict enrollment. And, within the next 10 years, we continue to see a decline in enrollment based on those predictions.
Right.
And how they've come up with those predictions, I don't know. But we've seen a decline in enrollment over the last 2 or 3 years about a couple hundred students a year. And it just
Right.
varies, you know, last year middle schools were down, this year middle schools are up. So,
Sure. But this year it's what, 6 students?
we're a
looking
little,
at these numbers correctly?
We'll see what happens.
Okay, at the moment.
Let's talk about it a little bit after the 40th day
Okay.
and a comparison. But
Sure.
So yes, at the end of academic year, we would definitely want to be much higher than we were at the end of last year. We'll compare 40th day to 40th day next month, and I
Okay.
think we'll be down a couple hundred.
I see. Gotcha. Well, that would keep you up at night, I suppose.
It does keep us up at night,
Yeah.
and it, you know, it equates to many dollars.
True, very true. Well, Mr. Deal, I appreciate you being here as always every month. Thank you for coming in and updating me and the community about the things that are going on at Farmington Schools. Thank you for bringing your guests with you this morning as well. Gentlemen, again, thank you for coming in and sharing your expertise with our audiences. We always appreciate that. And
Thanks for letting us crowd you out today.
no problem.
And
It's great to have a full house. So.
As always, I'll end with special thanks to our school board, obviously, and our community for the support that they continue to have with Farmington Schools and all of everything that our community does for our schools.
There
First
you go.
responders, businesses opening up their doors for our work-based learning kids. It goes a long way. Thank you so much.
Very true, very true. Thanks for being here. My guest from Farmington Schools this morning with me right here on KSJE. KSJE is proud to support the Aztec Highland Games and Celtic Music Festival, happening Friday and Saturday, October 4th and 5th at Riverside Park in Aztec. Heavy athletic competition, the Highland Dance Competition, clans, food, and music featuring regional pipe bands. Find out more about the Aztec Highland Games and Celtic Music Festival at aztechhighlandgames.com.